So we start with the part one. Two species of why questions, what for and how come. This is ambiguous in English. The word why is ambiguous in a way it isn't in some other languages. Here's one way. Why does ice float? That's the how come sense of why. Why are you handing me your camera? Is the what for sense. It's asking for a purpose. The ice question isn't asking for a purpose. Now, some questions are apparently ambiguous. Why are you drumming your fingers? To attract your attention. Hey, look what I found. That gives a what for answer. No reason, just a nervous twitch. That gives a how come answer. There's a process that explains my drumming my fingers, but there was no purpose. There was no reason for it. But how about this question? Why do pigeons bob their heads? Well, it turns out that there's a what for answer to that. And you may be able to figure out to a first approximation what it is. Pigeons, have no binocular overlap. Most birds don't. Birds of prey. That is, their eyes, like the eyes of a horse or a whale, are on the side of their heads. So how are they going to get depth perception? Only by motion parallax. So by bobbing their heads, they get two different views and they can get better depth perception. That's what it's for. So you see there is a what for the pigeons bobbing their heads. Compare that with this question. Why are planets spherical? And why aren't asteroids spherical? The answer is pretty clear. It's not that planets are spherical in order that they, can roll downhill better or something like that. It's simply a question of their mass and gravity and what gravity does as mass increases and minimizes the area of the surface of a mass. Now, the how come questions have answers which I'm going to call process narratives. They say, well, this happens, and then that happens, and this happens, and it's all explained, of course, in terms of laws of nature, typically. There's no suggestion of any justification. Consider the question, why does ice float? Now, it could be taken for a what for question. I don't advise it. I mean, the interesting question is, what is it about the way H2O crystallizes that makes the resulting solid less dense than the liquid in which it then floats? That's a perfectly good what for question. But you could, if you were of the mind to, turn it into a what for question, saying, what's the purpose of ice floating? And this would be a what for question, and it would presumably, what you'd be asking for would be God's reasons for making ice float. And of course there are some creationists who want to look at things like that in that way. God made ice to float so that fish could live through the winter at the bottom of the pond, so that human beings could have lots of fish in the middle of the winter, something like that. Or make up your own story.